Okay, I'm back, and the tune that I've just put together here, that I've just pulled up for us to look at, is a song called Keep Your Hands to Yourself by the Georgia Satellites, which, for those of you who don't know, it's kind of a, I bet you've heard it. It's like, I got a little chain in my pocket going jing-a-ling-a-ling. I want to call you on the telephone, give you a ring. But each time we talk, I get the same old thing. Always no huggy, no kissing until I get a wedding ring. My honey, my baby, don't put my love upon no shelf. She said, don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. Okay, so that's the tune that we're doing. Sorry, I was very, very bad singing, but you know, you're paying to learn how to play the piano. This isn't a gig, so I don't care that my voice was terrible that time. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so a lot of the same things are going to apply, but let's use the same metric that we did before. I want to take a listen to it and see what the feel's like. A lot of movement again on this one. You know, we've got a bass. The bass guitar is going. Excuse me. So again, you got bass players playing on eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so again, we got to be real careful not to muddy him up because he's got a lot of activity down there. And then the guitar player isn't quite playing on eighth notes, but he's playing a lot. He's doing something like this. So we've got a fair amount of movement going from him. So again, maybe picking up some accents would be a great idea. We're in the key of A on this, so we're going to play our power chords and our sevenths. Sevenths are important on this. But we want to pick up some accents and try and help thicken up the spaces that aren't already being filled, or at least accentuate the spaces that need to be accentuated, that might get lost in the shuffle since there's so much activity going on, so much constant activity. So watch this. Okay, I wanted to get to that point so that I could stop and show you this. When there is a signature line, a very, very signature line that happens in a song, in this case, one of the things that goes on is that during this guitar solo, which I don't have a solo going on there in this, but there is a guitar solo in this song during that point, then you get to this part where when you're singing you'd go, always no hugging, no kissing, you know, and the band actually goes, okay, and then carries on with its normal thing. So the guitar player is going, and the bass player is doing it, and the drummer's accenting it. At a time like that, it is appropriate to just double what they're doing just to help strengthen it, because that is a signature line from the whole song. So you're playing along. doing there? See, the bass player is going. So he comes down on the tonic on that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So what am I doing? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You know, I'm coming down on that, just helping to strengthen the ba-dum, ba-dum, da-da-da-dum, ba-dum. Just kind of calling a little bit of accent to the tonic chord. Just another thing that you can do to help bring out what needs to be brought out but not get in the way. Okay, so why is this important? Well, what would I be doing if I were playing this by myself on the piano? Well, I'd start out going. And then when you finally get into the part where the whole band is in, I'd be going. Well, I'm still your lover boy. Okay, now that sounds pretty good for one instrument, but the problem is if I were doing that with a band, watch the disastrous effect it has. I'm going to even turn the levels up a little bit so that you can hear these better, because I have the other instruments down a little bit so that you can hear the piano better. But watch how muddy and in the way I become when I do that. First of all, my left hand isn't perfectly synced up with the bass, and it never will be, and you gotta let the bass player be the bass player. Which, if I were gonna try and do that, I'm probably gonna make a mistake at some point, and I'm gonna end up muddying that up. It's best to let him handle that. And if I'm up here going, what I'm really doing is I'm kind of trying to play what the guitar player is doing, which when I'm by myself, okay, that's effective. When I'm with him, basically what I'm creating is this big marbled, muddy, cruddy mess, and no one can really hear what it is they're trying to hear in the first place. Instead of getting a good crisp, it's just, again, it's muddy. So by doing what we've been doing, which is this sort of thing, By doing that, you're really allowing the bottom end to have a good, clean, and recognizable pattern. You're allowing the guitar player to handle that basic bluesy rhythm. You are adding a little bit of punch to parts that need to be accented, that help add character to the song. Now I'm going to show you the other thing, is that if you've watched videos like my Money Licks Volume 1, that kind of thing, then you can throw in some occasional fills on top of this to help, and it just adds a little bit more color and texture to the deal. Watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to throw in, every once in a while, I'm going to throw in a little riff, and I'm not going to use anything other than the 3 basic riffs that I taught in Money Licks Volume 1 to show you how powerful and effective they can be. Okay, see how that livens it up? It adds texture, it adds a little bit of character, but you're not taking anybody's part away. That's the biggest thing, is that if you're going to add to it, you should either strive to be not noticed at all and still play, or you should strive to add something to the song that makes people feel like it was already in the song, but that was never there. Okay? That's where these little fills come in. When done properly, that kind of thing, it can really add to the piece. It wasn't there before, but it sounds like it belonged there. And you're not trying to take away the guitar solo. You're not trying to do the bass player's job for him. You're not interfering with the other people. You are adding something that is effective. So that's where you can get into adding some of those licks. So this sort of syncopation, dum bum 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 bum, it's good for a lot of rock music. It's especially good for these walking bass patterns. Remember, we've looked at 2 pieces now. One of them had a bass pattern that went, oh, excuse me. And the other one went, you know, so this little, that sort of thing works brilliantly. You can double this bluesy thing. But I want to urge you to take caution with doubling the blues thing, because you don't want to take the guitar player's part away from him. That is, no matter how well you play it on piano, as much as I hate to admit it, that is a guitar riff. Okay? It is a guitar rhythm. And it's never quite going to sound, no matter how good you play it, it's not going to sound the way it does on the guitar. So you don't want to muddy it up. You want to allow him to have a good clean, because that is really what the character of the entire song is going to be built on. So we're going to move on to now is some different kinds of up-tempo songs with different kinds of basses, bass lines, and that kind of stuff. So I'll see you in just a momento.